Van Onselen, Chief Economist and co-founder of Macro Business. Leith, good morning to you. Figures on Thursday showed 125,000 permanent and long-term arrivals landed in Australia, in January. Dick Smith calls it a disaster for families. What's your view on our migration levels?
Yeah, look, I think they're far too high. Just simple as that. And the reason for that is simple. So, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics' latest national accounts for the fourth quarter that were released last week, Australia's population grew by 680,000 people last calendar year, so in 2023. So that's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of 1.5 Canberras in one single year, and we only added 166,000 homes to Australia's housing supply over that time. So we basically only built one home per 4.5 new residents that came to Australia. Now, that's the reason why we've got an extreme rental crisis here. It's the reason why rents are going through the roof. It's why people have been driven into homelessness, group housing, and also under financial stress.
Right, so why don't governments do something about it? Instead of moaning about rents being too high, why don't they do something about it?
Well, yeah, they certainly could. They could do it with the stroke of a pen. They could simply cut immigration back to sensible historical levels of, around 100,000 a year. Instead, the latest official data we got, which was only current to June last year, said that we had 518,000 net overseas migration, but all indications after that from the national account suggested that it rocketed even higher than that. And that is why we've got the record low rental vacancy rate across the country. It's why rents are soaring, and so why people have been, plunged into financial stress and been forced onto the streets and into group homes.
Right, so it's the government's fault.
Oh, 100%. And it's the federal government's fault because the federal government controls migration and they deliberately ramped it up after they were elected. They ran a Jobs and Skills Summit with the express purpose of ramping up immigration, and that's exactly what they've done. And they have created this extreme rental crisis that we are currently in. It is the federal government's fault.
So, Leith, was there a need to ramp it up because of, post-COVID and there were jobs that were on offer and there was a difficulty in filling the jobs? So was there a reason at the time to ramp it up, albeit maybe not to the level that it's been ramped up?
Look, immigration was always going to rebound. We obviously had closed borders, so someone's going to come back, but it's just the levels. The levels are just like we have never seen before. So to put that into perspective, Australia's previous high record migration was during the Rudd-Gillard years when we imported about 310,000. Last year, we did 518,000 in the financial year, and we don't have the official data yet, but all the other data is pointing to an even higher level at the end of last year. So we probably had about 550,000, and that is just ridiculous numbers, and we can't house it.
Politicians make political decisions. Is this a political decision? Is there politics involved? Is there an advantage for the federal government from incredible levels of migration?
Yes, there is. And this is always pushed by the Australian Treasury. I tell you why, because the federal government collects about 80% of the nation's tax revenues, mostly through personal taxes and company tax revenues. So the federal government gains all the benefits from migration because when you have more people coming in, you collect a lot more tax receipts, mostly through personal income taxes. So the federal government gains. The problem is the costs get pushed onto the state governments. This is why Victoria and New South Wales are all drowning in debt because they cannot provide the infrastructure quick enough. That's why, you and me as residents suffer with increasing congestion, infrastructure that never keeps up, schools that are overcrowded, hospitals that are overcrowded, and being forced to live in high-rise shoebox apartments. So basically, our quality of life gets destroyed while the federal budget reaps the benefits from higher tax receipts.
Leith, wonderful to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you. Anytime.
Leith Van Onselen, Chief Economist and co-founder of Macro Business. G'day.